I'm stoked to talk about everything you guys got going. I aped in like super hard myself into Dippies back when the drop happened initially, and I love the brand. So like I'm super curious to hear how everything's going with you guys and like how everything's been since the drop. Like how's everything going?
Yeah, things have been really wild, fun, and exciting since the drop. It's been 3 months. We minted on March 2nd, so it feels just so nice. I've actually a couple days ago I was just reminiscing on how far we've come as a team, and I actually was going through our old like Twitter banners that we had, like the first one we ever had. Um, and it was just fun to like have a laugh with the team about like how far we've come from like as a brand in general. Like you obviously evolve and improve um, from the start. So it was nice to kind of reminisce.
Hell yeah. So, like, for everyone listening as well, Uncle Sal is the founder of Dippies, or one of the founders, is that right? Or like the sole founder?
One of the founders, the other founder is the artist Taylor Might of the collection.
Hell yeah. Is he in here? Or
He's
he's
not
not in here?
here. He's grinding away at the vans.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so the vans, like, now, how does the van like fit into the storyline of Dippies? Like, so now that everything's kind of like, it's been 3 months and everything, and these projects that like in this space, it's just like a lot of projects launch and then they just kind of like, dip out essentially. But it's like about kind of like, cultivating that community and having fun together. So like how are the vans fitting into the Dippies ecosystem and like into the community?
Yeah, so for us, like we've always wanted to experiment and try new things. Like even with the way we were marketing Dippies in general from the start, and talking about it was very unconventional. So as a team, we've always wanted to do unconventional things, just like that we were doing the 72-hour free world giveaway. That's a unconventional way of getting people to know about your project. So likewise with the van companion, we wanted to push the boundaries of Web3 from a dev perspective, and and get people excited because a lot of projects they promise things long term, which is great because some things need long term visions, but we wanted to ensure that we equally excite the Dippy holders in the short term by creating this van companion which has its own vertical and storyline within the Dippyverse. And for those who don't know, if you're a Dippy holder, you get the Van Companion for free, and the Van Companion is an animated collection,
Ooh,
and yeah, it's animated, yeah, for which is animated by Mickey, and the connect collection is actually done by Taylor, the same artist for the Genesis, of course, and when you get the van, you get access to the Dippy Garage, and the Dippy Garage is sort of this place where you can go and pimp your ride in a way where you could choose. So if you have a Dippy, you could put your Dippy inside the van. So you could actually, when you get the van on OpenSea, it's going to be empty, right? It's going to be animated and empty, but you obviously want to put a driver inside. So you could go on the garage and connect your MetaMask, and then through the integration, it will see, you know, what NFTs do you have? So if you have a Dippy, it'll allow you to put your Dippy inside the van. If you have
ooh.
if you have other collections such as Moonbird Doodles, etc., who if you own the full IP rights to those collections, which for example Bored Ape Yacht Club, they own the rights to their collection, so they could do whatever they please with their collection. So they could go inside the garage and put their Bored Ape inside the garage, inside the van. Sorry.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, so that, from a dev perspective, is pushing the boundaries of Web3, which is something we've always wanted to do. It's daring, it's experiential, it's creative, and it's exciting. So that's why we want to do it.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So like yeah, that's definitely from like a dev perspective, like you're saying, something totally new. Like I have not seen any other brand or project do something like that. Obviously, like we've seen Doodles do like their spaceships, and then it was obviously different as well. It wasn't a separate airdrop. It was like the same token, but like you switch them out, and then you see the character in there. But ability to put any NFT in there? Is that like
It
any
wouldn't
NFT,
be
or is it just going to
no.
be like certain blue chips?
It's not any NFT. It's certain projects that we feel are established and they have great communities, strong communities. And
Word, word.
so for the start, we have Bored Ape, Doodles, and Moonbirds actually as well. So we might announce one
Nice.
or two more before the launch of other collections that we're gonna put in the collections we integrate have to be the people who own that art have to own the art. Like it's what we can't integrate collections that people don't own the art to that collections, then that wouldn't be allowed, right? So we have
Right.
to make sure which ones we look at, and we've been getting a lot. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of collections that communities like reach out to us saying, "Oh, like can we see, our community inside the vans?" And to us, that accomplishes the goal. Like people are talking about the vans, people want to integrate into the vans, people like the art enough to want to have their um, forever NFT inside the van. So it accomplishes the goal because communities are talking to each other now. It's really exciting.
I love that that creates a way for your community to then, like you're saying, be desired by other communities to want to be a part. And like that creates an avenue there for a lot of collaboration, which I think is really sick. So that's super clever, man. Like I love to hear that. That's so awesome. You guys are crushing it over there. Are your devs, how are the devs feeling? Are there any devs in here that are from your team right now? Or
Yeah,
um
so I'm feeling like I'm pretty. No, I am not a dev in the slightest. I am just a vibes officer. I wish we had the devs up here with us, but as you know, they are deving away down there, making sure that all of these contracts before mint day are absolutely perfect. I wish we had a dev up here, bro. But I'll tell you what. From what I've seen, from being on the team, from doing everything that I have been doing with this brand, it's just ran so professionally. The way that Sal and the devs interact on a daily basis is phenomenal. There's always a line of communication open. There's always a big group chat going. So like, it's not stuck in private messages. It's not stuck in telegrams. Like we have our own server specifically for this, and being able to just watch as Sal, communicates back and forth with the dev team. It's professional grade.
Hell yeah, you guys obviously have your shit together. That's sick. And I ask about the devs, of course, because I feel like it's just like sometimes when you have like a big vision or you're like wanting to push the boundaries of the market, it's tough to have devs that are going to be like, yeah, let's do this. Let's like commit to figuring out how to integrate these different things or whatever. So it's sick that you guys are all like, working together to push things forward because that's really what we all want to do, right? Like, is as a space, as an industry, push the boundaries. Because now, once Dippies has done this, there's probably going to be another project that's like, damn, that is a sick idea. And then, it's up to the person who comes up with it first, right? To put it out there and push it through, though. And that's what you guys are doing. So I'd
Yeah,
love to see it.
that's the goal. I mean, um, if we're not excited about things about companion NFTs, like we all know, companion NFTs, how the way they are right now is just a way for collections to kind of please their holders, to give them liquidity to sell the companion and still hold the genesis. But that's just not like like that's just not enough. That we want to just do something more. We wanted to
Uh-huh.
give it a purpose, something creative, something fun, something visually pleasing, as well as when you, other than the garage part, like other than the part that you go, you have your van, it's empty, you go to the garage, you put your Dippy in it, or you put another NFT that you also own in it. When you go on OpenSea and you refresh um, the metadata is dynamic. So what that means is that when you go to OpenSea, when you refresh, it's going to show that what you did in the garage is going to show on OpenSea. So say you own Dippy number 3888 and you own Dippy number 7265, right? So you go to the van, you connect, the MetaMask sees that you have one van and you have two different Dippies. You like your 7265 Dippy more, so you want to put it inside the van. You put that Dippy in there, you go on OpenSea, um, you'll have to refresh the metadata, and once you do, your Dippy will appear inside the van. And that, from a visually and from a dev perspective, is really fun.
Yeah, it's also just like a funny thing to think about. It's like, all right, like you're talking to your devs and like, look, I want every NFT to be in here. Like, let's just figure out a way to do it. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
literally how it was.
yeah,
but
right.
but but the nice thing is that the nice thing about our dev team is that we have, like, devs are usually like great executors. um they're usually not the creative bunch, which, it's honestly, since they're such great devs, it's hard to have all the talents and all the skills to be that versatile. But we have actually creative devs in our team, which helps us be able to even fathom ideas like this.
Hell yeah, that's sick. Yeah, big shout out to your dev team. I'm so excited to see you guys' Vans ship, and for everyone to like, really just start getting excited about it. I think it's definitely cool to see your team pushing things like this. So that's super sick.
Yeah,
And there's
and
not just Vans either. Tell them about the submarine, Sal. Tell them about the submarine we got on board.
so we have some
Oh
really
shit.
unique. We really have some really unique one of ones. We released like some of them on our Twitter. Taylor, our artist and founder, had a lot of fun with the one of ones for this collection, and yeah, they're just, we're really excited. We're going to be releasing a lot more one of ones throughout the week and throughout the reveal. It's going to be really exciting. And just to go back to the garage, um, as we were like brainstorming as a team as to, like, the pros and cons to this. I mean, we only thought of pros for the holders of those other communities, because, you know, say you own a Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's just sitting there, um, and you own the rights to it, and you put it inside this van, and then there are many people who can't afford a Bored Ape that costs 100 ETH, right? But when you have this Bored Ape inside this van visually, right, you obviously don't own this Bored Ape if you buy that van, but when you buy the van on OpenSea, it will have that Bored Ape inside it, but it's not a wrapped. It's not wrapped. You don't buy the Bored Ape once you buy the van, but you're buying that image of the Bored Ape inside that van, thus giving that van more value. But then
Ooh.
what does that do? That blue chip holder is obviously really happy because he just made some ETH because he was able to utilize the clout of his NFT to generate more ETH. So for when we were thinking about pros, we only thought about, there's only pros for these other blue chip projects.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that definitely adds a different dynamic to it as well. And yeah, the next step would be to figure out how to get the Bored Ape wrapped in it as well. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. That would be way too much, obviously. And yeah, like the concept itself there is going to allow for people to create a reason to hold on to it and not just want to dump something for profit. Like people are like, what's a project I could buy that's getting an airdrop so I could sell it for money or whatever? It's like more than that. It's about actually having something here that you can use to display other NFTs. It's clever. It's pushing the industry forward, and it seems really well thought out on your team's part, which leads me to ask, like, how does the brainstorming happen? Like, do you guys just hang out on Discord, or you guys are like how do you come up with this kind of idea?
Honestly, we like Loki said, like, our we have a Discord just for the team, where we just have a bunch of open chats of just like brainstorm ideas. We have a headquarters. We have a dev category for ideas. We just have a bunch. We just have like a really safe space for anybody in the team, however high or low ranked your position is, to suggest ideas. So when we have that such an inclusive space, it allows for people to speak freely, and people have such great ideas. So when we just mash our heads to through our you know weekly, or sometimes a couple times a week meetings, things like just pop up, sparks happen. It's like, oh, like, like a bubble pops up. It's like, oh, but what if we did that? Like, well, actually the way it happened was like, oh, what if we put the Dippies at the Vans? Like, oh wait, what if you put other collections at the Vans as well? So like that spark lights up and you're like, whoa, like, is this possible? Then you ask the dev, and the dev is like, it's hard. But then we're like, come on. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we could do it, you know? So, um, so it's just like a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like, it does take that leadership and that vision on your end and really whoever's driving the creative idea to be like, all right, like this is crazy maybe, but like how do we figure this out? And then tossing it to the devs and letting them take the reins. So it sounds like you guys have a sick balance of like responsibility and people's like roles and stuff, which, makes me feel like you guys really know what you're doing and are crushing it over there, which I love to freaking see it, man. Like it's super, super cool. So when do the vans drop? Like when is this all happening?
So
Pin
the
tweet at the
van,
top, my friend. I'm sorry, Sal.
yeah, the vans drop on June 7th at 12 p.m. EST. That's June 7th, 12 p.m. EST. And so like I said, all Dippy holders. So there's 8,888 Dippies, and there's 8,888 vans. So if you own like 5 Dippies, 5 vans, look, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, in terms of like for the claim for holders,
Right, right.
and it's completely free. So you're getting, so just for reference, like our mint was 0.06 ETH. And this van is free for holders, and it's animated. So for those people who initially minted Dippies for 0.06, they're really getting 2 NFTs for 0.06. So that just, we're just trying to show that if you trust the team and trust that we're always trying to push the boundaries creatively and not just trying to take the easy way out, and just, we could have just done a companion drop, and made it just animated and dropped it. It's free, and could have done that. But we're just trying to show the NFT space that we are trying to be creative, we are trying to push the boundaries, we are trying to do new things, and we are trying to release different products. So maybe this is just kind of a way to kind of show people that there's more to us that we could do and accomplish. And we've always delivered on our roadmap, and not just within our roadmap. This wasn't even in our roadmap. This is something that we, we're going above and beyond for, right? So that's that. So for June 7th, that's the mint. So besides the free drop for the holders, there's 5,000 additional supply, due to this uh, interesting product that we're creating with NFT Garage. So we're expanding the ecosystem. So there's 5,000 additional supply to invite new holders into our ecosystem, into our
Nice.
Dippyverse. So it's 8,888 bands plus 5,000. So for those 5,000 individuals, the mint is June 7th, 12 p.m. EST. They will have a 6-hour period to claim. Sorry, not to claim, to mint. Um, and then um, and then 48 hours later, the claiming begins. Claiming will be 5 days for the Dippies, for the Dippy holders, and then reveal will happen at that time.
Nice. And what if they don't claim in that time? Like what happens to the extras?
So if they don't claim, they those like they the time has like run up, and the collection will just be the size that it is. But I'm pretty sure most of the Dippies will claim, as they've been waiting for a while for this.
Nice. So there's a public mint. So like you don't
Mhm.
own a Dippy, you could come in and mint on
Mhm.
June 7th
Yes,
at
if you if
12
you have if you have the
EST.
allow list,
So it's
row,
allow list only.
allow list only. Yeah, it was completely
Ooh,
an allow list mint. Um, we made a public raffle for people to be able to enter in that for the into that mint as well. Um, we have about 10,000 entries at the moment, for those 500
that's
spots that we're
huge.
giving for those 500 entries. Um, and yeah, so there's a 6-hour period for those for those 5,000, and we're really excited for June 7th. We've been preparing for a long time for this. Like, we initially we were actually going to, like, in all transparency and honesty, when we set out our roadmap, we said that we were going to release the vans 6 to 8 weeks after mint. So that would have been actually, that should actually be like around end of April, beginning of May. But since we wanted to make this drop just really epic and add this new product and this cross NFT, um, innovation, it took more time. And the Dippy holders, as soon as they knew we were doing this, they were like, oh, please take your time. They knew how much value this
Yeah.
added to their drop. So, and I didn't even touch on like the other benefit of owning a van is that, and the reason why we're expanding our ecosystem is that there's a game called Dippy Races that we're developing and is going to be ready with the drop. So we know a lot of projects promise games, and they're usually 6 months out to a year out. By the time they come out, the community's kind of like died down and isn't as excited anymore. So we're actually releasing a game this month um, for van holders to use. So if you have a van, you'll have the key to the game. The game's called Dippy Races. And what is the game? The game is basically gamifying giveaways, is the way I like to explain it. So the game is kind of similar to Tiny Wings, where you race the van, and the higher score you have, the higher you are on the leaderboard. And what are you winning the leaderboard? You're winning whitelists for other projects. So instead of clicking like a mindless giveaway bot where it's kind of like just like boring, just clicking this giveaway bot, you're actually playing, play to earn, but without a
Interesting.
token that ends up not being used properly and ends up dying.
Interesting, man. Wow. That's another way that you guys are pushing things in a different way.
Yeah, because we realized from the allow listing process from Dippies and Vans, we just realized like allow listing is actually a huge part of the NFT space. Like it's a huge part, and there hasn't been enough innovation on how to you know like remove grinding culture. Um, so this is actually a way to gamify it and make it really a fun thing because we do have IRL events with Dippies. Like we've done 2 IRL events since the 3 months we've launched, but that doesn't feel like the community doesn't feel like they're part of Dippies with these IRL events because they're in certain cities that not everyone is in New York, not everybody's in LA, not everybody's in South by Southwest. So we wanted to create something for the entire community to feel like they're a part of and feel like they could use. So this game is not going to only give them access to allow us for other projects. It's going to give them access to Dippy Drip, which is our merch. Give them access to concert tickets that we get. So that ties in the brand of Dippies being into music and festivals, etc., and other NFTs as well for other projects that we could buy, and people could compete for those as well. So there's so many different things, and that's just V1 of the game that we're dropping. There's going to be a V2 as well that we're working on as well.
And since we're talking about
Oh yeah.
games right now, I wanted to introduce to you our wonderful community manager, Dopey, who is running all of our league tournaments that we've been doing for cross community events over the past couple of weeks now. We've done League of Legends, we've done Rocket League, and we're really just trying to combine and make NFTs fun again. So, Dopey, what's up, girl?
Hi, sorry, I didn't want to butt in the conversation, and I'm slowly starting to lose my voice, so I'm trying not to talk as much. It's been a busy week, but no. Hi everyone, glad to speak. Yeah, so we've been doing, I think we've had 2 tournaments this week alone. We did League of Legends the other day, and we did Rocket League, tonight. So it's gonna be a fun time. We're doing it against the Tripsters tonight, I believe. So that's gonna be hell of a really good time. And Rocket League's a game that it's pretty straightforward to get behind, unlike League. Like I feel like with League of Legends, you have to kind of know what you're seeing to understand what's going on. But the Rocket League, it's very much like football with cars, and it's a lot of fun. So it's really good that
Yes.
we're doing things like this, and especially in like a market conditions like this, we all have to kind of stop thinking that we're all competing with each other, and really be like, no, we're actually building this all together. Like, there's no point fighting or competing or like taking a dump on other people's projects. It's time to really, like, rather than just give out whitelists and have a quick giveaway, let's actually do something with other projects. Let's actually connect. Let's integrate communities, because the likelihood is someone in one project probably in another project as well. So it's just good to share that together and share those vibes. So I'm all for that sort of stuff, and I really love to do like different things in the future, like more gaming wise, but also just in general, just cross collaborative events is just the way to go always in this space.
Wow. I love that mindset. Like instead of it just being about like, how do you guys just like, do what everyone else is doing, you're not thinking that way at all. You're totally thinking outside the box and you're trailblazing in a bunch of different fronts. I love to see it. And like you mentioned about the roadmap, like the interesting part about roadmaps is like with this space, a week in a week's time it feels like a month, in a month's time it feels like a year, right? Like things move really quick. So it's like when you say like all these different things on a roadmap, it's kind of interesting because it likely won't even play out that way. And even if you do have it play out the exact same way, it's like maybe it's not relevant. So it's like cool that you guys have like taken a step back from and looking at it and just being like, all right, like let's make the right decision. And obviously the community is going to support that. So it's beautiful to see. And it seems like you guys have a really awesome and very unique synergy to your team, which also is super heartwarming and super dope. So really, for all of those reasons, you really can't fade Dippies. Honestly, you guys are going to keep working, keep making dope shit.
For sure. I think like one of the really good things, like not to cut across anyone as a team, but I think we all trust each other pretty well, and we all try to get to know each other pretty well as well. So we're all talking all the time. It's a very much a friendly atmosphere, and you really need that when you want to work on a project together, because it becomes not just one person; it becomes everyone who's working on it. So it's important that people see us all together and they see us all chatting. Even spaces like this, it's super important to see the team out and talking with everyone. So I feel like we have that.
Yeah, you guys have a bunch of good shit going. I love it. So, is there anything planned for like NFT NYC, or you guys kind of just like working on what you're currently working on, which is obviously a ton of different stuff, but just out of curiosity?
So we when we launched 3 months ago, we did like 10 days after we launched, we did our first IRL event in South by Southwest, and that was in Austin. So that was really fun. Then 2.5 weeks after that, we went to NFT LA, and that was really great. We did a party with a day event, then a party with the I Like You're Weird, which is also, as you can tell, we're
Nice.
always trying to collaborate with other projects, because like we're clearly trying to show this is not a competition. We're actually stronger together, in this space. So, but for NYC, we don't actually have anything planned for NFT NYC. We actually told our community ahead of time that we won't be doing anything for NFT NYC, as we are using a lot of our time, resources, and bandwidth for
100%.
this Vans drop, which is in June 7th, and the reveal is June 14th, which is a couple of days before NFT NYC. So it would be spreading ourselves too thin. And one thing I learned a lot as a founder of a project is that focus is the number one thing.
Hell yeah, especially when you're leading a team of people, and I think you're doing a hell of a job, man.
With that being said, though, I will be at NFT NYC just partying my absolute face off, getting to know all these other communities. I'll be going to Friend NYC. There's a Quirkies event. So those are all really awesome communities that have welcomed the Dippies in with open arms. And there's, a very large music component to this project as well. And so for the last couple months, I've been integrating myself very heavily with the music NFT communities. So I'll be attending Jaden Violet's Underground Rave one of those nights. He's a superstar out here in Web3 music, as well as Jack Frost on the following night. So
what?
Yeah, man. So there's a ton of parties, a ton of raves, a ton of things happening, and this Dippy right here is gonna be rocking my Dippy drip to every single party, letting them know who's bringing the vibes. So that's what I do as a vibes officer, man. Just show up, bring the vibes, and keep the party going.
Your vibes are immaculate. So being the vibes officer is definitely a great thing for you and for everybody.
That's I recommend founders of all projects find themselves a chief of vibes. It's a very important role in the NFT space that in the Web2 space might sound kind of funny and people would laugh it off, but honestly in the Web3 space, a chief of vibes, vibes officer is honestly necessary.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, dude, low key, I'm gonna have to shoot you a DM about that underground rave. Sounds super sick, super cool.
Big ol' Europe on that, buddy. Anytime. DMs are always open for anyone in the crowd. Just so you know, the DMs are open over here.
I'm crying in European right now. I've said this in every single space this week, and we need a good European NFT event. I'm gonna cry.
Dope. Every time we talk about IRL events, Dopey just kind of clenches her fist because she's in Europe, and Europe doesn't get enough love.
I've been in this space for a while now, and not a single like decent European, like anywhere in the whole of Europe, a decent NFT event. I'm actually gonna cry.
Honestly though, it shows how much of like in infancy the space is right now. It's like still primitive to a lot of extents. Like there's not events like all over the world. There's only a few that are really popping off, and like there's we're able right now to look at this, and teams like your guys' team at Dippies, and whatever other teams are looking to push the boundaries right now. It's like the space is still so small and so young that now is like the time to be like, where can we push the boundaries and expand this? Because it's like when you look at this 10 years down the road, who is growing the space, right? It's people like you guys. It's people like myself. It's people that are wanting to care and go out there and like push it as much as they can, and like see the different lanes and ask those questions and throw in weird questions at your devs. So I'm just fired up to see that, and I love that you guys are perpetuating such a good culture and vibe where you're wanting everything to be collaborative and wanting people to come together, whatever project you're a part of. So it's a super in alignment with what like the hippie vibe of Dippies and the chill vibe. So I think it's super fucking sick.
No, you bring up a good point as well. Like everyone here is the ones growing the whole Web3 space overall, and it becomes difficult because when you start like shitting on other projects, let's say, you give ammunition to everyone who isn't already in Web3 to like crap on it as a whole. So it really doesn't do anyone ever favors. It's always a good thing to point out a bad project if there are bad ethics, bad things going on. Absolutely. But just to drag a project down for no reason just isn't good for any of us, really. Like I said, just gives ammo to everyone else. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, completely agree. The space really needs more people that are thinking in the ways that you guys are thinking, and as you are leading that type of example, I think more and more brands will catch notice of that, and it just is about more and more people just thinking in these types of ways, and that's what pushes the space forward. So
And yeah, man, and besides just all the cool stuff that we've mentioned earlier, one thing that Sal left out is we're actually integrating to three various different metaverses. So we picked up land for Arcade Land. They've already integrated us into their game. We have little pixelized Dippies run around Arcade Land right now. We're looking at World Wide Web 3 integration as well. So just trying to get more of our assets, of our people, get them mobilized. You'll be able to take your Dippy, your exact Dippy, not just a generic one, into and play around and network into that metaverse that has proximity voice chat. You're allowed to do and host screen sharing parties and whatnot. And then we also have an NFT world land that we purchased. And I believe we're gonna try to do something really really awesome and innovative. Dip Fest, Dip Fest, potentially over there in the NFT world. So there's a huge component of this that we don't even really talk on because vans have been dominating the conversation. But there's so much more of metaverse integration, of bringing people together. Dopey is a huge proponent of VR chat, so we're potentially going to get some stuff going in VR worlds, and just really trying to expand and push the technology and push the culture as much as we can. And why stop just there? So there's always gonna be more opportunities and more things to expand on going forward.
Honestly, I freak out when I hear people mention VR because I think it's like heavily underutilized in the Web3 space. Like to me, it's just like the most obvious choice, the most obvious route to go down. But the problem is like not everyone owns a VR set. But people don't realize that they're not like that expensive to get anymore these days. You can pick up like secondhand ones, they're pretty cheap right now. And it's such a good way to integrate communities, like being able to interact with people from like all over the world in a completely different setting. Like I could put on my VR, hop on a Dippy's world, hang by the campfire with my other Dippies, and we can all sing songs together and have a good time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the pinnacle of like what we can be doing right now, and I'm really excited to start like building more on that after this mint because I feel that's going to be like a hot thing to do. So I'm all for it.
wow, honestly, it's like the future is so bright. Like I can picture Dippy smoking metaverse joints together inside of VR and just like
For real.
passing their metaverse joint and just being like, yo, like this is nuts. Just like,
Honestly, it's a thing. People
like
do
they
that. I
will.
see that happen like all the time. Like people have like party nights, drinking nights, just chilling out, having a smoke nights with people. Like it's insane. Like a lot of people might think, oh, that sounds like really kind of cringe, but how much do we say that about things that end up being popular? Do you know what I mean? And once you try and once you get involved in communities, it's actually like a hella fun time.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's very early for VR. So, yeah, like I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on your guys and like how you're doing there with that. Because if you're really willing to push the space in all these different ways, it's really just about like containing that focus, like Uncle Sal's talking about, and then shipping all these things. Because it's like so much stuff. And it seems like you guys really have your, like, you've got it all sorted out. So, like, it's fucking epic. I'm stoked. Like, I think it's going to be so cool to see the vans drop, and like I'm definitely going to be looking at the floor and trying to see which one might line up for me once everything launches. And I think that I'm just overall feel super good after hearing all you guys talk. Like obviously everybody's really in synergy here. It's going to be really dope to see what happens a year from now with Dippies, and like even further. Like, do you guys have plans like you're thinking about this becoming like a global type brand, like a huge type brand, or like right now are you guys more focused just on like, okay, we're executing these things, and as we go, like the space will evolve and we'll see where things go.
Yeah, for NFT projects, the way I've been seeing the market, and you know, as a founder, like I study the way other projects have fallen, and how they've not fallen, and how they've been able to sustain themselves. So, one thing that I realized, like I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned earlier, is that you need to really make sure that um, you like you said, the NFT space moves very quickly. So you want to have you always want to have like short term excitement for your community in terms of building the lore and the verticals for the project. But also as a founder, you need to always be in the back end, also building out the long term vision as well. So we did our first drop, our merch drop, called like Dippy Drip on 420, very on brand with Dippies.
Nice.
And it was honestly really, really fun. A lot of the Dippies actually received their merch around like, a couple days ago, like 1 week ago. And honestly, like, we if you guys go on Twitter and see the quality and the time and effort that was put into that merch, you can kind of tell that we're really trying to tackle the lifestyle brand of things from the Dippy's perspective. So there are things that we're trying to do, but like I said, it's important to focus and also provide then the investors of the project things to be excited about short term, but rest assured that the Dippy holders know that the team is always thinking long term as well.
Yeah, it's all about really just having fun. Like, and you guys are having fun. Like, you're just looking at this game and you're like, how the hell do we like make this even more fun? Like, what can we do to make more people come together? And these are the right questions to ask when we want to like expand things. And instead of thinking narrowly and thinking like, how do we make the most money? How do we like, even just thinking narrowly, like, how do we make our holders the most money? Like, because it's not always just about like numbers, it's about vibes, right? And vibes are not like necessarily quantifiable. And a lot of this stuff that's non-quantifiable is really the most important. Like floor price really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like, when you're looking at it from an investing perspective, it's like, whatever. But like when you're looking at this as a community, it's about what do you want to be a part of? And I think that's what Web3 is all about, is like you can design your identity in Web3 to be whatever you truly want it to be, your truest self. And I think the beauty in that is like opening up the opportunity, like you guys are, to allow for people to experience Web3 in a dope way. So, like, props to you guys.
Yeah, like for sure. Like we've seen in the NFT space that floor price really does not determine the utility of a project. Like we've seen these new recent drops that are coming out, as funny as they are. Founders like myself look at this and we're like, we see all the value that we're providing our holders and our communities, and then we see these other projects, pop up, and it kind of like it kind of gets you confused about the NFT space a little bit on what they're valuing. But one thing that I do know is that the Dippies do value actual value and actual perks and actual benefits, the things they could actually use, and not just speculation. So I'm really happy that we built a holder base that thinks that way.
Yeah, it's like building a family, like Metaverse HQ, that is, my family, right? Like I've been a part of Metaverse HQ for so long, and honestly, like I can't really sell that token. I can't sell that NFT. Like to me, it doesn't really have like a monetary value. Have I flipped it sometimes and like bought back in? Like, like a bunch of times actually. But I always have the token like um pretty much. Like I can't not have it because it's just a part of my like Web3 I just ingrained in my Web3 identity in a sense. And it doesn't even have to do with flexing it. Like it just has to do with being a part of something that you want to be a part of, right? And if you want to be a part of something because, having an NFT would represent you being a part of it, like then the price doesn't really matter on the NFT and it becomes more of this thing that's like priceless to you, right? And I think that's kind of where the communities that pop off are just experiencing that, where like people aren't selling it or really people are speculating on it super heavily and stuff like. And I guess this space right now, we're not necessarily talking about all of that, but I still think that it's really cool. Like you guys are pushing things, and the community obviously is going to respect that. And at the end of the day, if you're going to keep doing that and your vision is like, yes, let's keep doing this, let's keep playing this game, let's keep having fun, like that's it. You already won. You know what I mean? So it's really just about having fun in that sense and being a part of the ride. And I'm super stoked to see what you guys create over the next, whatever, few months, next year, whatever. You guys are definitely a brand to keep your eyes on, a team to keep your eyes on. And like I said, the synergy you guys have is definitely something I haven't really seen super transparently among other teams at all. It's definitely something to be proud of. So I love it. Honestly, I'm really, really big props to you guys.
Yo, mad love to you too, man. I feel like at a certain point, like Spaces hosts don't get enough recognition, enough credit for setting this stuff up, for doing these rooms. I'm a full-time Spaces host myself, so I completely understand, having to, the anticipation, right? Like when someone shows up, you have no idea like what the crowd's going to be. You have no idea if you're wasting your time. You have no idea like what kind of research that you might need to do. So, I have a question for you, man. Like why did you start this whole metaverse HQ stuff? Like what's the idea, and like what's your goal with this whole thing?
Well, I should clarify. I did not start Metaverse HQ. I just joined it like shit, probably about a year and a half ago, and like really right when I got into NFTs, like shortly after that, and it taught me so much. Like I've learned from so many people in that community that like all about NFT trading and just like there's so many smart people there and really like a lot of volume being spent on NFTs from people within that group and being around people like that, creating that family that, joining that family and like helping be a part of that is that's why I'm there is because, I love to flip NFTs and trade NFTs. Like I will, often buy into a project and, do my best to flip it, but, it has nothing to do with me. Whether as far as like thinking long term about that project, like, I just like to buy and sell NFTs and collectibles. And I've always done that my whole life since, Pokemon back in the day and all that. But yeah, it fires me up really to mostly to just be a part of something where you can hang out with other people like you guys, like the people in Metaverse HQ, like, like Chrissy, who's up here also, who hasn't spoken anything yet, but, people like this in the community who are pushing things forward. That's who I want to associate myself with. And so those are the families and places that I will gravitate towards. So, that's why I'm a part of something like Metaverse HQ. Like I can't get that anywhere else in the NFT space that I know of as far as like, um, you know the different type of dynamic that they've created over there. So definitely something to look at for sure.
That's dope, man. So you say you're a mad collectible person. So do you think that
Yeah.
if, we happen to give you a van key today, that you might be collecting one of our new NFTs on June 7th? Or,
Oh, hell yeah.
check out the floor and,
No, definitely,
play the
man.
secondary, like my name is low key, for God's sakes. I felt like I was kind of made for this role. So I would like to extend this offer to you, my friend. I would like you to be a part of this mint with us on June 7th. If Uncle Sal will give me the go ahead, to go ahead and do this to you. Yep. So there's a peace sign right there. So peace and love to you, my friend. I would love for
Bro,
you
that
to
is huge.
shoot me your Discord name. I'll go ahead and hook it up in the Discord. We can get that wallet submitted and get you on that whitelist so that you can mint with us on June 7th, bro.
Let's go. That's huge, bro. I'm stoked. I'm happy to be a part of it, man. Thank you. That is so sweet. You guys are
We
awesome.
see we see more people like you in the community, fam. You're a leader out here. You're doing something that I admire, that I do myself, and I know how hard it is. And so, like, if you don't get compensated in one way, I'm gonna compensate you in another way, dude. And I just want you to be a part of something cool and have something really dope in your wallet to be like, yo, that really awesome interview that I did that one time with the Dippies crew, it paid off, man. Check out this really dope animated van. And I would just,
Nice.
it's the vibes, bro. It's the vibes.
Hell yes.
It's the
I'm stoked, man.
vibes. It's the vibes.
Oh my Dippies in the house.
Yeah, we gotta blast that song in our next spaces. But yeah, so yeah, we're all about peace, love, kindness. Like you could tell, like the entire team, that's how we are. That's how we operate. And hopefully it becomes contagious in the space.
It's definitely contagious here for sure. Like you guys have a contagious vibe, and I love it, man. Honestly, and I really appreciate that. That is so sick. Thank you for that, Vanky. Then that is so dope. I'm super hyped on that. So
Of
yeah,
course, my dude. Of
honestly,
course. I actually want to talk to Chrissy real quick. I see that dope PFP. I see the verified check mark. I just want to say, yo, what's up, Chrissy? How you doing today?
What's up, guys? I've been stuck in traffic the majority of this conversation. I don't know if my internet's gonna crash, but yeah, I've just been listening in. You guys are really good vibes, and I actually had a question for you guys too, real quick. You can ask me whatever you want after that, but you guys kind of like I feel like you guys are really interesting because you guys are going utility use case a little bit, and then you guys are also building a legit brand. Is there one of those two that you guys are leaning more towards? Like, what is the goal? I know that Satoshi, you touched on this a little bit, but are you guys wanting to be more so like a brand, like a streetwear brand or like a brand that people can identify with, or more so like have a utility use case? Like you guys were talking about making a cool game to kind of like revolutionize this whitelist grinding meta, which by the way, I love that concept and everything that you guys are doing. But are you guys looking to align in one of those two more than the other?
So that's actually a great question, and we talk about it a lot in the team. What are we trying to be like? Heavy on utility or heavy on building the brand overall, which is that's more of like a long term play as well, obviously, because brands take time to build. But the way that I see it is that excuse me, um, first and foremost, like we can like TaylorMite, the art is, I think, in my opinion, the like one of the best perks of owning a Dippy. Like the vans, the sheer amount of time spent by Taylor on this art for the vans, it's just cannot be understated how much hours he spent on the vans, and how hard it is to make each trait something that somebody would be happy to have, and then to have Mickey animate them is a lot of work. So I just want to just first and foremost shouts out to them, because an art I'm a huge believer of art is a utility in itself. So other than that, we also want to have like use cases like gamifying giveaways, um, and competition. So that's a use case, like you said. But if I were to say, like, if I'm leaning towards one or the other, um, I can't say that I am. What I'm trying to do is that the best way to scale is to hit different verticals, and that's the best way that I see it, in the way that we are right now, because we are early. The best thing to do is to experiment on different verticals, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, well said, man. I completely agree. I think that I know this has been brought up a little bit too, but this entire space is so like it's so young, right? Like there's no blueprint for success. Everybody's just like experimenting and trying new things, and I think that's also like part of the reason why it's so cool to be in this space right now, because you see big brands doing things differently, right? Like it's not like corporate where you just follow like one traditional way of doing things. Um, so yeah, kudos to you guys, man. I'm really stoked to see what you guys come out with as well. see what these wrapped kind of functionalities are gonna do and everything you guys are building, man. Super stoked.
Well, they actually are not wrapped, right? Just to
Yeah, just
double
to
back on
clarify,
that.
not wrapped. Like, you know, if you put a Dippy inside a van, if you decide to sell the van, the Dippy will not be sold because the Dippy is a different token. Just wanted to put it out there, but super excited about the you know, the visual aesthetics of being able to put you know, your van, your Dippy, and other selected NFT projects inside the van. And this is exciting because, you know, like I said, a lot of NFT communities in these spaces have been coming up saying like, "Hey, can you please integrate this project, you know, as well?" And what we're saying is like, that's the entire point of the garage, is that it has a use case, is that it's additive. It's not like these 4 collections that we're having ready on June 7th and that's it. No, it actually has a purpose. It has, you could add more and more communities. The Dippy races, it's a V1. There's even more things that you could do to you know, include rarity in the thing. You know, if you have a more rare van, does it give you, you know, different aspects in the game, etc. So there's a lot of things that are additive in these verticals that we're doing, which gives it longevity.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've received so many people like coming to me my DMs, especially my awesome dead tiger friend down there in the crowd. If you guys want to take a scroll, the dead fella's companion's death note down there, who just won his van key the other day, is sitting here telling me, he's like, bro, can I race my tiger, dude? Can I race my tiger? Like I have to know, I have to know. And I'm like, buddy, believe me, trust me, it's coming. You can't race it right here, right now, but there will be a day where the dead fellas are going to get their time to shine. So, you know, I definitely see this playing out kind of like a community vote where we'll have, you know, probably several projects that have all, you know, been in contact with us that we collaborated with, and the key point being they all have to own their own IP. So we're not collaborating with Bored Ape Yacht Club officially, but since every individual holder owns their IP, they're allowed to do what they want with it. And if they want to profit off that IP and use it in a different NFT, they should have the right to. So we're definitely looking to expand. We're really excited about, you know, like 2 weeks, a month after mint, to see just like what we can do with these things, and just to keep, like you said, bro, like having fun with it. I think having fun in NFTs is oftentimes overlooked. That when I got into the space initially in January, like I was having so much fun just in VCs with strangers, and I feel like that sentiment has just been lost. People don't want to have fun. People don't want to tell about themselves, and it's just competitive. And like, oh, did you make a gain today? No, dude, I got rugged. Well, shit, here we go again.
I think we've seen like a lot of or a couple, 1 or 2 projects this past week who have kind of brought the fun back into the NFT space. Like, just like you say, just being in spaces and voice chats and just like goofing around and having a good time. And we've seen that works. You know, people will buy into fun.
Especially when you make goblin noises.
I didn't want to
Oh my gosh.
mention it, but
All of the
absolutely.
derivatives though too now have just like launched of like just goblin noises was the first thing, but now it's like all sorts of different creature noises. So it's like elf noises, it's like you know, troll noises, it's like Cthulhu noises. Like, what is next? I don't know, but honestly, it's like just anything that brings people together for the sake of fun is the way. Like, it's obvious. And you know, we've seen projects too that have a million different things. It's like, our game is going to be this, and there's this ERC20 token, and you burn it for this, and it has this type of supply, and there's like 12 pages to read through just to understand it. You got to read it like 100 times. Like, we've seen that, and most of those different things, it's just too overwhelming, I think, for people to really latch onto and have fun with. Versus, like, people are like, wait a second, people are making goblin noises together. That sounds funny. I'm going to spend $10,000 on this now. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a different type of thing, but it's the same too when you look at Dippies. It's like, you guys are just having fun. That's the magnetism there. That's the attractiveness. And it's like, you guys are just good vibes, and this van project is going to be sick. Like, and that's it. Like, you know, it's just, you guys know it's cool, and you put it out there, and then it's just about attracting all the other people that are magnetized in, who are on that same vibe, you know? So I think you guys are doing something sick. And regardless of the space, as long as people are just doing those types of things, they're just yo, I think this is cool. I think this is sick. I'm going to have the courage to put it out to the world. Then you're going to attract the people that think it's cool and think it's sick. And it doesn't have to be that next copycat. Like, I don't feel like that is the way, you know. It's like the people launching all these derivatives, it's just a fast way to try to make some money off volume or something, you know what I mean? And obviously that attracts the degenerates willing to spend a bunch of money and a bunch of ETH on stuff. But you know, and that's a cool thing too. But when you look at it like a long-term type beat, it's all about just like, is this going to be fun? Is this going to be cool? Like, who's having the most fun, right? The people you're most magnetized to at a party, who are they? It's the people having the most fun. Same thing with NFTs, you know?
Same exact thing, bro. And that's literally like how I've gained a platform in this Twitterverse, in the metaverse, in the NFT space. I don't talk super analytically. I'm not like one of these people that is looking at the floor price and like, oh, I think number 2572 looks really good. Look at that clean hat on that one. It's like there's so many of those spaces, bro, and it's just so freaking annoying to sit through those. And I always told myself like I was never gonna be a Spaces host that did that. I just want to make people feel comfortable to set the room, set the vibe, and just make sure everyone's having a good time and that they're acknowledged. And so that's why I called on Chrissy a second ago because they hadn't spoken yet. And that's definitely like one of the things that this brand promotes is inclusivity. I care what people have to say. I truly do, and I just want everyone to be heard.
Yeah. Chrissy's up here farming followers, not saying a word. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, I was just listening in, man. It's really good vibes. Obviously, like Satoshi, whenever you host spaces, it's always cool. And then you have, you guys from Dippies up here, and yeah, it's just cool. And I actually have another question for you, low key. You definitely are vibes, and I've never actually. I think I've seen a couple of positions like chief meme officer and stuff like that, but like I haven't seen a chief vibes officer. Can you tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more, like everybody in the audience, like what exactly does your like job entail? And I apologize if you guys talked about this before I joined. I'm just really curious,
No,
very
we get it.
fascinated here.
That's cool. Let's expand on that for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Because
100%, man.
Sal, you said too, that's like, I haven't seen it really. So I love it. Go ahead,
Well,
Loki.
it's a position that we kind of made up. I think we are one of the first people to have a chief of vibes officer, and essentially what I do on a daily basis is I'll host spaces not only for my community and Dippies, but I'll be out in like other people's spaces and actively raising my hand and actively participating. Like I am the Dippy that everyone gets to see all the time, and so what that does is pushes this culture that we're bringing. And essentially, what I'm doing is just bringing constant brand awareness in every single space, in every orifice of music NFTs and PFP based NFTs. I'm in the play to earn spaces as well. And so what that does is brings people into this ecosystem that have never heard about Dippies, that aren't in Discord, that are not really understanding of what this is, because we all know that the Twitter algorithm, it'll put things around you that you like, or that's in your bubble. And how do you reach people from other communities? And well, that's via a vibes officer. And so I just go out there, I set the vibe in every room, I let them know who Dippies are, what we're about, and then I just sit there and have a conversation with them. And every single conversation that I'm in, I always get asked about my PFP, about the Vans, and it's not shilly. I don't want to get it twisted. Like I'm not a paid shiller. They don't bring me on the team to go out and be like, hey guys, just so you know, June 7th is right around the corner. Make sure you have your Dippy keys. It's not like that. It's just like I am a curator of the environment that we are approaching as a brand. And so I'll be in the Discord. I'll help out with events. Every space that Dippy's runs, I am on, and everything in between, from sourcing collaborations. Like I helped facilitate 15 different collaborations in the last 3 days, right? So like using the network that I made in these spaces, it allowed me very easy access to every single community that I've engaged with. And now all those communities have funneled into our Discord, and we have 10,000 new members in the last 24 hours due to collaborations that I pulled in. So it's like that is the overall uh, benefit of having someone who is actively out here, actively building in the space as much as they can. And it's allowed me phenomenal opportunities. Speaking with the likes of G Easy, speaking with the likes of Paul Wall. I'm personal friends with OG Ron C from Swisher House Music. And every single person, Waka Flocka Flames managers in my DMs right now asking me about Dippies. And so it's like, okay, word, like this is how you grow the brand. It's not by staying in yourself and running Dippies only for Dippy spaces. yeah, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll host Dippies After Dark, and I love hosting that show. It's the very first show that I ever associated myself with. It was a community run space that started the day after Mint, and when we started doing that space and just receiving this kind of culture, it was just very cohesive, and it just works. And I don't know if everyone can copy what I do, because I'm kind of a one of one. My mom minted a very collectible
A
piece.
one of one. This guy said he's a one
Yeah,
of
dude.
one.
Sal, you said that we need to find a chief vibes officer. Every company should find that, but you really just need to find a low key, actually.
Yeah, you do. You gotta find your one of one, low key, because they don't make two of them. But yeah, we have such an incredible team. Like talent, like low key, like Dopey. There's not that many of them in this space. Um, it's talent is one of the hardest things to find, in even in Web 2. Leave Web 3 aside. Web 2 in general, like finding talent is one of the hardest things to do. When you're operating a team, so to go to Web 3, the options are even more limited. And these aren't the kind of people you find on Upwork and or Fiverr or like these job boards. These are people within the communities that you find. So it's really hard to find these kind of talent. They kind of just gravitate towards the brand because they feel like they are a part of it. And the Dippy's team, it's there's so many different parts, like collab manager to Dippy's alpha, uh, Dippy alpha caller to community, community members, like vibe officers. And it's just there's such a huge amount of things going on to keep the Dippy dream alive.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask that question actually, but you literally just answered it completely. Like, where do you find talent like that? How do you
I'm a
attract
hippie,
that?
bro. Dude, I am a literal hippie. Like real life, my hair is down to my titties. I am always smoking weed. I'm always going to festivals. Like this is my life, and this is my culture. And so when I saw the digital hippie movement that they were making over here, I had to jump in. And I didn't get to whitelist. I got on the project late, and I don't want to say I grinded, but I just showed up. And I think when you show that you care about a project and their mission, that you're always going to get that reward, whether it's a paid position or a moderator job that you start for free, that you have your first leg in. Bro, I'm full-time Web3, man. Like I quit my job for this. You know what I'm saying? Like I put myself on a limb. I said there's no safety net anymore. Like can I add value to projects, or can't I? Am I a real community builder or not? Let's find out. And I'm so grateful that Sal and I met up in Los Angeles at the NFTLA event, got to shake his hand, and got to express the vision that I had for the brand. And after expressing, that kind of passion and determination to help this thing really grow and get legs, it was a few short conversations later that I was on board as the team. So everything since that day has just been an absolute blessing. And this PFP means more to me than every other PFP in my wallet. This is my identity. Like my truest identity is this Dippy right here. So I don't know if that can be packaged up and shipped out. I don't know if I can teach a class on it. I have no idea. I try every night in spaces to tell people how to go full-time Web3. But at the end of the day, if you add value to the things that you believe in, then you're always going to see that value reflected. And I don't want to take up too much more time. I know we have a trivia event going on with the Tellies. We are talking about, what is it, Pineapple Express trivia tonight for some van keys. So we're going to go ahead and get that started right over there in just a few minutes. So I'll go ahead and say my final thoughts. This was an amazing show. Thank you so much for having us on. This has just been another great day to experience what the Dippyverse is like, and I'm so glad that I can extend this key to you, my friend, and welcome you into the family on June 7th. My name is Low Key, and that is my time. Thank you, my friend.
What a Chad, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what a chat! I love that.
Loki's like, right, Spaces is done.
Chat.
Goodbye.
Wow, mic dropped. And
Mic
I was
drop.
just informed as well after what an amazing thing there, Loki. I was just informed by Poppy, EQ Poppy, that we do have 3 allow list spots to give away. So I'd love to facilitate that.
It's time for the Hearts game. Oh my goodness. All right, Dippies. I hope you are ready for another round of the Hearts game. All right, so if everyone can pay attention to me right here, my heart is orange. On the count of 3, my heart is not going to be orange anymore. And if you can be one of the first people to match the color of my heart, we're going to call you up on stage and give you some van keys right here, right now. So I'm changing my heart right now. It is not orange. I repeat, it is not orange. And I am looking through the crowd on the count of 3, everybody. 1, 2, throw up those hearts. 3. And we got Malibu with 1. And we got Meg and Noob. All right. So I went ahead. Meg Thorpe, Noob Salem. I'm following both of you right now. And we already have Malibu. Malibu already has a key. So what I'm going to do is change it up one more time. Oh, everybody, this is the final round. We have one more heart on the board and one more key. On the count of 3, it is not yellow and it is not orange. 1, 2, 3. I'm still looking. Oh, we got one. We got one.
I saw
Oh,
Snakey.
who you got?
Snakey was first, to be
You
honest.
got Snakey? We got Snakey.
Snakey,
We got
Waru,
Snakey.
Nice.
Snakey,
All right.
Waru, and Lux were first. I saw them.
All right, so there you have it. Thanks for playing another round of the Heart Game. I am your host, Low Key. And this is my favorite way to ever give out spots. I think it's the most integrative way to do it. I don't see anybody else doing it like this, and it's just much better than having to throw up a post and be like, all right, we're going to do the Twitter picker real quick. Is so-and-so in the room? Nope, they're not in the room. Redraw. I'm like, all right, right here, right now, let's get these spots out. And I'm so glad for everyone who participated. If I said your name, if you want a key, shoot me a DM, send me your Discord name. I followed you guys already,
All
so
right.
just follow me right back. We're good to go.
So that was Meg Thorpe. That was Noob Salem. Noob Salem. Is that right? And
That
the
is
last
correct.
one was Lux, or what was
I think
that
it
last one?
was Waru. Waru Pan.
Waru
I
Pan.
follow them all. They're all in my recent followers. So if
All
you
right.
guys are right there, Meg Thorpe and Von Salem, I'm sending you a DM right now. Go ahead and shoot that right back to me, and I'll get you guys taken care of. And that last one right there that Sal picked out, shoot me a DM as well, and we can go ahead and take care of you, my friends.
Well, damn. That was electrifying. Wow. This has been
you guys killed this
literally
spaces,
an
man.
epic
This
time.
was amazing to listen to. Sorry, Satoshi, you can go ahead. I just wanted to drop that.
Oh, no, yeah. You were trying to say something earlier, though, and then I cut you off. What were you trying to say? It was like
I think I was
a
just gonna
minute
say
and 20 seconds ago.
I think I was just gonna say, like, just imagine having like chief vibes officer on LinkedIn. That would just be an interesting position. But like, not to like diminish the importance of the role, because I think it's just something that's like brand new and something that's actively being explored and discovered in Web3. But you guys are completely right. Like, it's really, really important, and I think it's cool what you guys are doing, man. I don't want to drag this out, but I think I kind of forgot like my train of thought. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on here, and it was a pleasure to like listen in on this. And Satoshi, you killed it too, man. Great host.
Dude, thanks. Thank you. Nice. What a time. Good stuff, guys. Well, is there anything that anyone wants to say before we ride out? I feel like we discussed a lot, and I feel like also that you guys really illustrated like the true colors that your team has, like what you guys really represent, and the vibe that you bring, and the cohesiveness and the leadership. Uncle Sal absolutely crushing it with the leadership and the vision, and the entire team, Dopey, Low Key, like you guys are seriously super cool, and I'm super happy that we had this space. It was really, really nice.
Thank you for having us. Amazing space, and looking forward to further collaborations in the future with you guys.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. Well, we're going to wrap it up then, fam. All right. Again, Uncle Sal, Low Key, Dopey, Dippies, you guys are literally awesome. We'll see you guys then on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
And
Later,
we'll catch
fam.
you guys.